Yasmine Akrimi is a North Africa analyst at the Brussels International Centre. Thanks for joining us, Yasmine. It was just on Thursday that the president rejected the formation of that coalition of opposition parties who, as we heard, their head say that they would like a national dialogue. The president won't even talk to them. Why?
Well, I don't think a dialogue is even if the president agrees to talk to them or anyone, really. It's not even the opposition, even national, international institutions, civil society organizations, every stakeholder within Tunisia and outside of Tunisia. The president just refuses to talk to anyone, including his very close allies. So even if a dialogue was to happen, this referendum is set to happen in 3 months. So there are very little outcomes that could be doable and actually effective, even if a dialogue happened, because the president is very much set on his agenda, and the committee has already been appointed, and this new constitution is already being drafted. So I don't know if any type of dialogue, including with the labor union, will be useful at this point, honestly.
So replacing most members of the Election Commission, which was one of the last remaining independent state institutions, even changing the mechanism for voting in parliamentary elections. So many changes. What about his argument that he's doing it for the good of Tunisia because it was a corrupt system that only served the elite? Is there any truth in that?
There's a lot of truth in that. So Kais Said's popularity and the way he's acting today and the way he is today and the trust that Tunisians continue to have despite, a lot of completely crazy things happening. It's not coming out of nowhere. Tunisians suffered a decade of corruption, of institutions, democratic institutions that were there, but they did not function well to serve the interests of the people. Now, the logical solution to that would have been to reform the institutions, not to suppress them, and especially not to go on that one-man power scheme that Kais Said is doing at the moment. So yes, there was a lot of corruption. There is still a lot of corruption, but I don't know how installing an authoritarian rule is helping any of that, especially when you consider the complete absence of checks and balances within this new scheme.
Yeah, the checks and balances and the lack of them is really, really interesting, how slowly but surely he has removed those. What do you think is the possibility of the referendum on the new constitution passing? Obviously, we don't know what's going to be in it, but just based on the fact that it will be Kais Said's constitution in a way, does that make it more likely that it will pass or that it won't pass?
Well, it definitely does make it more likely to pass for the people that will actually take part in the voting process on the 25th of July. Now, I don't know what legitimacy this constitution will have, especially considering that the national dialogue only had 500,000 people participating. Now, we have to understand that the continuous trust that Kais Said is maintaining on behalf of Tunisians is because there are very little viable alternatives when we're talking about this National Salvation Front. The National Salvation Front's main actors were part of the problem and were part of the reasons why Kais Said is where he is today. So I don't know what will happen. I don't think there is any discussion about what will happen if this new constitution does not pass. But what we are sure about is that the president is not even taking the time and energy and resources to explain what this constitution is about. It's going to happen in 3 months, and we still don't know, what's in it. So it's obviously a plebiscite for or against his person, and this is very worrying on the long term for the solidity of the democratic institutions that had to be reformed, not completely suppressed.
Yasmine, really interesting to hear your analysis. Thank you so much indeed, Yasmine Akrimi.